Well, if you've noticed more and more businesses asking for tips these days, you are not alone.
Our Kyle Pozorski dove into its rise and shares with us what he found.
Well, as people transition away from carrying cash, businesses have needed to adapt, asking for tips using technology where you can choose to tap for your tip. But while it's more convenient than ever, people I spoke with say the prevalence of tipping has come to a tipping point. Taking a look online, you might get the impression that tipping has gone too far, becoming a sort of internet inside joke.
Thank you so much for your purchase. I'm just going to spin this iPad around.
To find the reason why, I ventured out onto State Street hoping to hear from people about what they're seeing.
You know, there's so many things you can tip on nowadays.
Self-checkouts, I don't tip on.
If I'm paying you for the service already, and this is what you're charging me, and it's what it's worth, I don't think I should be forced to tip you, you know, but that's to each his own.
Overwhelmingly, it is a feeling of pressure at every checkout that has some people saying they're tired of being asked to tip. This man and his family, visiting from Mexico, say the expectation to tip in the United States was a bit of a culture shock.
We were totally surprised when we saw that the machine, the tablet, asked us for a tip when nobody took our order actually at a McDonald's.
Even lifelong Americans say they can't avoid those pesky tip screens.
They pull it up on the screen, turn it around, and just expect a tip for that, especially when it's not service-oriented. It's way too much to ask for.
New research suggests these feelings of pressure are not alone. According to the Pew Research Center, around 7 in 10 adults say tipping is expected in more places today than it was 5 years ago. While many agree that the tipping phenomenon has escalated in recent years, it's hard to draw a line for who deserves a tip. Catherine, a service worker of 2 years, was conflicted when asked what professions should get a tip.
That's a great question, because I wouldn't want to tip an oil mechanic for changing my oil, but I would consider that a service.
But is this just a case of people complaining? Cliff Robb, a professor of consumer science at UW-Madison, says it's not, but rather a reflection of the fact that tipping is now everywhere.
In the sense that it's just become more ubiquitous in the sense of like tip requesting.
But there is good news for those opposed to tipping. In Madison, a Willie Street restaurant is bucking the trend.
I saw this place driving by, and here we are.
Sultan Ahmed started his Punjabi and South Asian restaurant on the Near East Side just over a year ago, a place where tipping is not allowed. In a recent post on Facebook, Sultan spelled out his specific problems with tipping, saying it's rooted in racism.
It was a very aristocracy tipping the laborers who they thought were beneath them type of vibe. And that's just, that's not a legacy we care to perpetuate.
How are you trying to go against that, I guess?
Yeah, I think people should just be paid what they're worth. Like if you're working full-time at a job, you should make enough to live.
Despite Sultan's efforts to rid the world of tipping, it doesn't seem like they're going away anytime soon. In that case, maybe I should start asking for a tip in every news report.
That's not a bad idea, Kyle. Okay, so is there a reason that we can point to why people are feeling more pressure to tip?
Well, it basically comes down to what the professor was saying, where now you have a lot more people, where the technology has advanced, where it's on these tablets, as opposed to where it used to be in a jar, where it was kind of an afterthought. Now it's in the forefront of every conversation you have when you try to buy something.
Certainly something everybody faces every day when they buy stuff. All right, Kyle, thank you.